Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Jain from the PGDM GM batch of 2026 at XLRI Jamshedpur, and today we are joined by Mr. Suman Das, an alumnus of XLRI, and I'm Calcutta, and he is a digital transformation leader with over 27 years of experience. His work spans AI strategy and governance, delivery management, strategy consulting, product and process development, and technologies like blockchain, data governance, and hybrid cloud. He is also a patent holder and an award-winning practitioner and an active contributor to industry and academia. An ESG enthusiast and certified independent director, he brings a unique blend of technology depth and human-centric leadership. Sir, we are thrilled to have you here at XLRI. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sir, I'll start with your career. Sorry, yeah. So you build your career at crossroads of strategy consulting, delivery, and technical domains such as AI and governance. Given the current AI momentum, from generative models to process automation, how do you define governance sweet spot for enterprises? That is, how far can we push AI and where to draw the boundaries?
Right, great question to start with. Thank you for inviting me today. So I would like to say that the sweet spot lies at the crossroads where the AI principles meets the accountability and the aspirations of the organization. See, AI has vast capabilities, but you also need to be cognizant of the fact that what value you are getting out of it, what risks are associated with it. So if there are it's a low risk thing and you're getting high value for it, I think you should go for scale. Then you need to have some resilience parameters. For example, if any drift happens, if any customer escalation happens, if there is any bias detections, how will you handle it? Who will be accountable, right? So these are the few things which has to be the kind of the sweet spot where the AI ambition should be measured along with the accountability and the responsibility of the organizational landscape.
Thank you, sir, for answering that. So that brings me to my next question. Often technology and sustainability feel like they're at odds. For example, the concern of massive energy costs for training the AI models. So how do you see AI actually helping a company achieve its ESG goals rather than hurting them?
Yes. So again, a very good question. So I will say that ESG, AI, another technology, blockchain, they go hand in hand, which I think they should all converge into something which I call a trust architecture, right? We already see that Gen AI is already automating the ESG reporting by that they are automating the disclosures, and then we see that they are helping to analyze the vast regulatory frameworks. Then they are making sure that each and every ESG parameters are taken care of in a responsible way. And here also blockchain comes in. I use that technology here because there are some things which Gen AI cannot do, which blockchain can do. For example, you have these immutable audit trails and making sure that your ESG numbers are not greenwashed. That was one of the things which is now haunting the industry. But that's the point I want to make, to say that they will go hand in hand. They are not at loggerheads. So it's not technology versus sustainability. It is, I will say, technology for sustainability. They should go hand in hand, and the various tools that have come, if you can use them responsibly and in a way that is very much helpful in your reporting, that should be kind of made universal across the organization. Of course, there should be some kind of regulation how you're using the data, because some data privacy laws are there. Responsible use of data is very much important. And when I talk of data, the availability of real viable data is also a challenge, because you don't have control over your vendors sometimes, right? And they come from everywhere in your supply chain. So this kind of integration should be there, where AI and ESG reporting should go hand in hand.
Right, sir. Thank you for bringing so much perspective to it. So, for the people interested in tech for good, what is the biggest unsolved problem that you see in the ESG space that you think technology will solve in the coming next 5 years?
Yes, in fact, I touched upon it in my previous answer. Uh, Greenwashing, right? So, as I said, I mean, the organizations, when they are made to do their reporting, they don't have total control over the whole supply chain. They are vendors, right? So, whatever they are getting the data, they are publishing it in their way, and of course, there has to be some format. But here, that's what I'm saying. The greatest challenge which is now happening, and unsolved problem, let's say, is that how you are bringing is the supply chain provenance, how you are having this transparency over your supply chain. So this is the greatest challenge right now the industry is facing. That verifiable claims. I am making some claims. Okay, my organization is doing this in that way. But how can I verify that? What technology is there? So still now, yeah, the industry is struggling a bit on that. That is the greatest challenge I think the industry is facing. But at the same time, research is going on, tools have come up, and though nothing is very kind of a made kind of a that, okay, fine, we have to go through this tooling or we have to go through this kind of mechanism, but provisions are being now made that where we can have a way to say, okay, no, fine, we have this kind of a situation, we have this kind of a problem, but we are also working on it. But yes, this is the technological challenge which still remains.
Right, sir. Right. So definitely taking a note of it. So when we talk about large scale transformation, it can become a pretty complex mix. So when you look at ROI of transformation beyond just cost savings, what are the other soft metrics that you pay attention to? For example, things like culture, agility, or talent, and how do you actually track or measure those?
Yes. See, whenever you are implementing a new technology, it happened before with blockchain, right? And then now we are ESG is there. Now we are having Gen AI, agentic AI, and all these things have come up. One of the greatest thing we should be very cognitive is the mindset, the organizational culture, right? That is very important, and that's what you have touched upon in your question: culture, agility, and I think adaptability, right? So when you talk about culture, it has to come down from the top. The leadership has to support that, and everybody, it has to scale down, right? Everybody should be aware of their own responsibilities. See, ethics is something, and AI is something that needs to be embedded it across all the functions. Of course, there has to be some ownership, but every cross department has to own it. And the agility part, as you say, how fast are we making these changes? How fast are we learning from our I don't say mistakes, but lessons learned, right? And how are we going to implement it? That part, the organizational culture will define your agility. And then comes the adaptability. Adaptability is also, I think, is associated with some kind of empathy. How you are understanding what your team is doing, or how you are understanding what your client wants, and then you have to adapt to the market. Because see, you cannot use anything that is not trusted. It's not about AI. It's about everything. Something has to be trusted before I adopt it. And now executives and leadership has understood this. Organizations have understood that artificial intelligence or ESG technology, which doesn't get trusted, cannot be adopted. So we have to make ourselves first responsible, and that's why the culture comes in with the values that the organization lays down.
So it's sounding like a human first approach.
Yes, very much. And that's the part the adaptability and empathy comes.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you for answering that. I noticed you hold a patent involving blockchain and mobile roaming, which is a very interesting intersection of technologies. Could you briefly explain the core problem it solves and how blockchain adds value to the telecom operations in that context?
Yes, great question. So I will go back to the days just pre-COVID, right? That point of time, blockchain came into traction in around about 2015-16, and it gained momentum and 2017-18. At that point of time, the telecom operators in India, Jio, Vodafone, Airtel, MNTL, so they were making big promises and reaping all the kind of what should I say, the financial gains. But there are some coherent challenges remain, where complaints came in from the customers, the consumers, you, me, everyone, right? So specifically, okay, I'll talk about, but okay, before coming to my patent, I just wanted to give you a big background, right? Because telecom is one domain where trust matters, right? See, you may be on a Vodafone network, I may be on Airtel network, but when I roam or go out of the country, Airtel is not owning everything. Vodafone is not owning everything. So they have their partners with the local and the regional and the international operators. So I'll give you an example, and that will explain about my patent. So when I go outside the country, right, and my patent actually solves this issue of cross border problem. So when I go out of the country, so I'm traveling, say, from Kolkata to Mumbai, and then to Dubai, then to South America, and maybe to America, North America. So all this time, the operators keep changing, right? You and I are not aware of it. I have taken roaming. I have taken roaming from my home operator, say Airtel, right? Now Airtel has tie-ups with Orange, which is prevalent in South America and Europe. Then there is another operator in North America. So I give a call to my home, and suddenly the call drops for 2 seconds. It's nothing. It happens here also. It happens in my hometown also, right? So I just say hello, hello, and then the call resumes with my mother, my family. At that point of time, some dispute happens. See, when we talk about roaming, there is some cost associated. Airtel is taking some plan from me. Okay. Now Airtel will say, hey, Orange, your network dropped that problem. Orange will say, no, your roaming problem associated with it. So these disputes, there the data is involved, customer billing details are involved. So these disputes used to take months to reconcile. You and me won't understand. Our thing is okay, fine, my 2 seconds dropped. Of course, that goes to 10 seconds as it becoming a different thing. But my 2 seconds drop is not an issue. I can resume my conversation and close it. Now, these telecom operators, they try to fight with each other, and this used to take months, maybe 60 days or 90 days in some to claim between them who will get a share of that billing. My patent solved that problem. So, from 60 days, the dispute, could be solved in 60 seconds. So we improvised the blockchain technology in such a way that there's a trust layer between these telecom operators, where every call made had a audit trail, and there is a provenance. Means that when I started my call, how did it go through, where actually the issue happened, and who should be responsible. So all these telecom operators came abroad in a shared ledger, right? And they found out these details. And this is trustable because no one can manipulate it. No one can delete anything. That's why it's called immutable. So their 60 days problem came to be solved in 60 seconds. So you can imagine how much time the telecom operators saved. And they can, instead of solving disputes between themselves, they can concentrate on their own use cases and give value to the customers, to consumers like you and me, where they can give value from their own services. So this is the problem my patent solved.
It's a really big issue that you addressed. Interesting to know.
Thank you.
So, do you feel blockchain is still underrated in enterprise use cases like this? And is it just waiting for right applications to break out?
Great question. See, as I said, blockchain got traction in 2017-18. But what was the issue then? Just like any new technology which is happening with AI now, and agentic AI, everybody is jumping to gain whatever they wanted to gain out of it, right? Everybody is enthusiastic about it. And I understand. And that is perfectly acceptable also. Any new technology should be adopted and should be given the right kind of attention. But you should be also be cognitive of the fact that one technology doesn't solve everything. It happened with blockchain, and I'm happy to see that people are now being very cautious about agents, agentic AI, and Gen AI and AI in principle. With blockchain, so blockchain works best when there are multiple parties in the consortium, and because there is a trust layer, there is a distributed ledger. So you and me in a shared ledger won't work. We can one particular technology, one simple technology can solve that issue. Multiple players, you, me, others. So as I said about that, the telecom operators issue. So Jio, Airtel, Vodafone all came into a consortium, right? So that particular time, the blockchain gets relevance, the use case gets relevance, and it will solve the real issue, the real problem that we are facing. Here, actually, blockchain lost some traction, some relevance because you are using it, you are overusing it to something that it is not solvable. And blockchain technology takes some time to give you the ROI that many organizations didn't understand. Because see, organizations, corporates, they run after one thing, bottom line, right? So what ROI I am getting? Financials, of course, are there. But you have to give the technology the time to give you the ROI. For blockchain, it can be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Organizations generally do not want to wait that time. It's instant. मेरे को आज ही चाहिए कुछ, something like that, So here it draws some relevance, but it's a wonderful technology. It is still being used. Nowadays, it's being mainly concentrated into cryptos, into financial sectors, but now it is gaining traction into healthcare. I just read a report, I think a couple of months back. One of my ex-colleagues in blockchain, we used to work together. He shared me one report that in United States, health firms like Pfizer, Novartis, Mark, they are now coming together to have a consortium, a healthcare mechanism where blockchain will be, used to maintain the trust between the different clinical parties, the pharmaceuticals, what drugs are being used, where it is being sourced from, are they authentic or not, because this concerns about people's lives. So it's great to see that blockchain is now getting the traction, and it is a wonderful technology. It will stay, and some correctness has been now being maintained, right? And it is good to see that it is making a comeback in a way that it should provide the right value to not only the financial sector, but in retail, in healthcare, in aviation, and all these in industries that it can be more relevant to.
So that's a very relevant, and it's very, like, if used rightly, it will bring out many good results.
Correct.
So with EU AI Act and India's guidelines on AI and global regulations emerging, what's the biggest gap that you see between AI regulation and AI deployment?
Yeah. So, see, principles will always stay, processes will always stay, but these are all guiding forces, right? The main gap where I see is the operationalization, where the execution really happens. A CEO or a CXO can give vision, and an organization can give you the cultural momentum, but it's all about the different departments, like your legal, HR, risk, marketing, procurement, business. They should come together and own adherence within their own workflows, right? So the execution has to happen. The belief has to be there within with the people, and the operationalization has to happen where we see the real value coming out of it. What metrics are we using? What audit trails do we have? Are we really having an AI fact sheet, right? Before we go the deployment path, where actually we see that it giving us the value. So all these things, if we can, maintain it in a way and have a kind of a ethics committee where we do the correct review and the auditability trail, I think it will give the traction and the operationalization to take place, and real values will come from the ground.
Right. So in the age of AI, I imagine every client wants to implement an AI-based solution. As a consultant, how do you handle a client who wants to use AI for something that doesn't need AI, and how do you have that tough conversation?
See, just before I told you about blockchain, when the technology came, everybody was excited and tried to implement that in every way, where blockchain was not needed, right? As I said, the blockchain used to be in a consortium, but with that two parties, people used to, use blockchain just for the sake of it and showing, hey, we are using blockchain. So, give us more projects and sort of that. The same thing I will say for AI. AI will not solve every problem. And AI is costly also. When you talked about ESG, when you use any use ChatGPT, right? We use Copilot, Grammarly. We are using valuable resources of Mother Earth, right? And that has an effect on the carbon accounting things. So just for the sake of using AI, we should not tell our clients, hey, go for these AI solutions. For simple automation or any kind of analytics can solve that problem, I will tell my client, use this. It may not give me that same value, it may not give me the same TCV, right? But at least I am honest to my client that why you are using unnecessary resources or technology that can be solved by a simpler technology, and for that the skills already exist, right? So the client will also understand that, and they will have more faith and trust in you. And when you say, okay, no, here is the opportunity where you can use AI, they will trust you. They will go for your, kind of consulting mindset in your consult, whatever you wanted to give them, the values. They will understand your views, and they will be with you all throughout your journey. So here the trust comes, the ethical use of accountability comes. So I will say that you should have an AI fact sheet. You should have some proper metrics before jumping into any use case, implementation. Go through the requirements, see what particular technology. You have your data scientists, you have your architects, you have your project leads to guide you. So they will be there, and as a team, everybody should be on board to decide and agree that this particular technology will solve. So that's the thing. Be cautious, be slow, go in small chunks, make a POC to see if AI really fits or not. If not, go for a simpler technology to solve the problem. By that, your customer will trust you more.
Right, so that's the right way to navigate through it. I understand, yes. So, what leadership lessons, according to you, have been constant throughout your journey, regardless of the technology shifts?
Good. See, there are some integrity principles which we all go through right from that time we have started our journey through school, college, and now in management institutes. So, one is, of course, your clarity in purpose has to be there, right? That is one leadership aspect I will always be cognizant of, that you need to be very clear on where you want to be and what you are actually seeking out of your current initiative or job, that clarity. Then some kind of adaptability has to be there. Technologies are shifting, management lessons are also shifting. You have to unlearn faster than you learn, right? And take some lessons learned from all the previous engagements that you have been involved in. That is very important. Keep good network relations with people that have been instrumental in your life. And then there's the empathy, right? You have to understand people's views first before you understand what problem you are trying to solve. Because as great leaders, you are here to promote others, not yourself. Of course, you will be promoting yourself, but if you are building a team, if you are thinking, okay, no, I need to grow my team and give the values and the knowledge that I have, you are already growing in your ladder. So make your bottom line, make your team knowledgeable, make them accountable, and then by that only you will be able to grow as a great leader.
Thank you. So that is going to be a major key takeaway for me. So, what would be your message to the management students preparing for careers in consulting, digital roles, and leadership?
Okay, first of all, I will say that you need to be three things. There's a deadly combination of technology, business, and communication. If you be very much aware of these three things, nobody can stop you. Then I will say, at the start of your career, listen more, then talk more, because people will give you more credit if you're asking relevant questions. But for that, you have to listen very, very carefully, right? So don't jump to conclusions. Don't make yourself aware that, okay, no, if I don't speak or if I don't speak early, people will not recognize me. No, listen carefully what others are saying, clarify yourself, and then you can go for your questions. Then I will say, be human first, right? Put, as I said, about empathy. If you are, thinking about others, if you are thinking about how you can grow your team, then only you will be able to succeed in your career, and people will remember you. Make a mark upon yourself, that so that when you leave in your management institute, or if you leave your organization sometime down the later, people will do not forget you, and they will call you up on one fine day to say, no, I just called you up to ask how are you. So this creates a very good impact. And keep from technological background or from management institute, keep relevance of the current trends, right? You can be just like reading a simple newspaper also, is very important, and take note of all the happenings that is going on in the world, be it in business, be it technology. So I think by that you can make a good career of yourself.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences and insights.
Thank you.
I'm now moving on to the next segment, which I call the perception meter. Here I'll read out some set of statements, and you have to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, by 10 indicating that you agree the most to that statement, and feel free to add your one line on why you feel so. So the first statement is generative AI will be a bigger shift than the internet boom.
Yes, I will give it 9 out of 10, because when internet happened, it gave us a kind of an information powerhouse, right? But Gen AI is giving is the capability. So if internet was the information powerhouse, Gen AI is, I will say, a kind of a superhero. But we need to be cautious how we are using it. We need to be accountable and responsible how we are using it. I think if you are using it responsibly, it will be a great game changer in the coming days.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Next statement is people-led change drives tech-led transformation and not the other way around.
10 out of 10. I have already seen that great technologies also do not work if people are not ready to adapt it, right? And it's always about people. It's human judgment. See, AI can give you suggestions. Blockchain can give you some technological solutions, but it's our judgment how we are using it. So the mindset of I will use AI and I will not use AI is the differentiator. So it's always about people first, where the change will happen.
Right, sir. Right. Next statement is culture is the biggest determinant of transformation success.
Yes, as I said, in fact, one of the questions you have asked earlier, right? Organizational culture is the de facto important thing, which is now, which are always there. I mean, right from the beginning of the days, right? And I will say it's again 9 out of 10, because whenever an organization has a good culture, has a good people processes already installed, people will automatically be aligned to it, right? And they will follow whatever is required to do the right thing to do.
Right, sir. Right. Next statement is the next big wave after Gen AI will be autonomous AI agents.
Yes, yes. Again, 9 out of 10. So agentic AI and agents are already here,
Yes,
right? And they are now, what should I say, just like the Tesla cars, automating their driving on their own. But you also need to install the brakes before you give them the keys. I will put it in that way, right? You have to be very, very cognitive of the fact that there are some agents which are, autonomous. They do not allow human oversight. Now here, the boundary has to be there. So I think agentic AI is a wonderful tool and a wonderful phenomenon to happen. But if we, again, as I said, some strong guardrails need to be there, it will be a game changer.
So that's a great analogy with the Tesla car. Next statement is ESG is becoming a core part of tech strategy and not just reporting.
Yes. So again, ESG without tech is just like a plain PowerPoint, right? And as I said earlier, that technology versus sustainability is not the fact. Technology for sustainability or ESG is the norm. So yes, if you are combining your technology for your ESG reporting, it will take care of a phenomenon like greenwashing, and in ways that will be very, very relevant, and people will give value to it.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So that brings us to the end of the segment. Thank you for being with us here today, thank you for sharing your knowledge and experiences. It has been a great experience for us. Thank you.
Thank you.